Assalamu alaikum, all of you. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I will teach you about the training and development. But before teaching you training and development, I must tell you what is training and development, from which it's originated, what are its functions. Basically, the training and development is the function of HRM. It is the function of human resource management. And what is human resource management? Human resource management means, in contemporary word, human is a resource. Human is the asset. Human is not the liability for the organization, but human is a asset. Human is a asset which is valuable, which is rare, which can not be, which I mean, the human do not have a substitute. It means if one person is experienced and the person have a knowledge, skills, abilities, it means he is different from other employees because of its knowledge, skills, abilities, behavior, and experience. And in primitive time, in old days, when there was a more usage of machinery, and no, there was not the actually the more usage of machinery but more usage of people. It means the human were treated like machines in old times. But in this contemporary world, human is considered as a resource. Why? Because whenever human joins any organization, he come up with his knowledge, his skills, his abilities, and the most important thing is that human have ability to think. It means he come up with the innovative ideas. So human resource management is a subject, and training and development is a function of HRM, right? Such as recruitment and selection is the function of HRM, performance appraisal, performance management, labor relations, and there are other subjects as well, such as a job analysis, job design. These are the functions of HRM. Similarly, training and development is also the subject of HRM. So let's move toward the other slide. The table of the contents of today's presentation are training in HRM, definition of training, training process, training method, and then conclusion. So, according to Edwin B. Filippo, right, he said that training is act of increasing the knowledge, skills, and attitude of an employee for a particular job. It means that training is the process of teaching new skills, knowledge, and behavior to an individual or a group of individuals. So it means that training can be given to one individual or it can be given to the group of people. The training can be formal or it can be informal. The training can be on the job training, training can be off the job training. Training can be within the organization and it can be outside the organization, right? So, what is basically the purpose of training? Why we uh, do and why we give training to employees? Because there are few things, uh, such as, now I'm just teaching you about, talking about now, right now I'm talking about just training, not development, training, right? So training is done for the improvement of performance. It will enhance job satisfaction also, and it will also promote personal and professional development, right? So this is why to improve the performance of an employee, we conduct trainings. And training is a short term process. Training is a short term process. Whereas if we'll talk about the development, then development is a long term process. For example, suppose if we'll join any organization, right? And that organization will give you training related to uh, any anything uh, such as ms excel. Suppose ms excel, because you are working manually, they want to teach you how to work systematically, so they gave you training related to the ms excel, how to work in ms excel. So the training was ended, it was for short period of the time. But after some time, after working in that organization, you left that organization, and what you had done, you moved to another organization, right? So when you move toward another organization, you apply all the skills which you had learned in one institute and in one organization. Now you are applying all those techniques in another institute and in other organization. So this is called development. It means development is a long term process and training is a short term process. I think you understand what I mean. And why trainings are done, the goal of the training is to enable individuals to perform their jobs effectively and efficiently while meeting the organizational objectives, right? Then the organization makes objectives, and employees want to achieve those objectives. For that, employees also needs training. Okay, now this is the training process. Just see the word process. Just focus on this word process. Whenever you saw or listen this word process, it means it involves certain steps, right? It means it involves certain steps. For example, if you want to make a coffee or if you want to make a meal for yourself, what you'll do first? You will first take the flour, add some salt into it and certain amount of water, and then you'll knead the dough properly, and then you'll be able to make the meal for yourself or make the bread. So it means that process involves certain steps. So when we talk about the training process, it means training process also have certain steps which we have to follow. And it uh, it can be described by this ADA model. ADA means, it is the acronym of job analysis, job design, job development, job implementation, job evaluation. So we also call it ADA model, the training process, right? It involves certain steps. And we will not put the evaluation at first and analysis at the last, because the steps written in first stage must be at the first, in the second stage, and the second step must be at the second. So in first stage, what we'll do, we will identify the gap, and in design phase we will design and talk about the trainees, the trainer, the location of the training, the method which we will use. In development, we will develop the learning objectives, the assessment of training, and in implementation we will implement the training, and in evaluation we will evaluate the whole training, I mean the pre and post performance. So let's learn these things and these steps one by one. The first step is identify training need analysis. Okay. In first step, what we'll do, we will identify the gap. And you will ask me about what is that gap, right? You'll certainly want to know that what is that gap. So it is basically the gap between the current performance of the employee and the desired performance, the expected performance, or the performance which organization want from employee. So if there is a gap between the current performance of the employee and the desired performance of the employee, then to bridge that gap, what we will do, we conduct the trainings. And in this stage, we will diagnose the problem. We will identify the problem, that in which area employee need training. Suppose in banking sector, when you suppose you are the new employee and you had joined the banking sector, and you'll observe few employees. When I had done my internship, right, I had observed few things. When I was doing my internship in one banking uh, sector and banking institute, so I found few employees misbehave with customers. So it means that those employees need training, right, related to the behavior training, right, the attitude training. And I found some employees who work manually, means they follow old techniques. It means they need training related to the skills, technical skills, and also they need knowledge. So in this stage, I'm giving you another example. When you'll go to the doctor, right, what doctor will do first? He will diagnose the problem, or we can say that he will diagnose the issue with the patient, what kind of illness he has, or what kind of illness she has, why he is ill, why he is feeling weak, why he is not feeling well. So he will diagnose the problem. Similarly, for the training, we will identify the problems and what, in which area employee need training, such as there are three areas: knowledge, skills, and abilities. And if the employee have the problem other than these three areas, other than knowledge, skills, and abilities, then that employee will not need training. It will be dealt with by other methods. But if we are going to train the employees, we must identify the problem, that we must identify the gap in knowledge, skills, and abilities, the behavior of the employee. So the analysis can be done in three areas. The first is organizational analysis. In organizational analysis, what we'll do, we will identify the goals and strategies and objectives of that organization, and determine whether training is necessary to achieve these goals and how it can contribute to organizational success, right? So it depends on organization size, structure, culture, and resources of the organization. Now, if I'll talk about the task analysis, in task analysis, we will identify the area, and we will basically divide the task. For example, some employees work in HRM, some employees work in marketing, few employees work in supply chain management. So there are different areas. So it involves breaking down the task, that employees perform into smaller components to identify the skills and knowledge required to perform them effectively. It means that it helps determine whether employees have the necessary skills and knowledge to perform their task and whether any gaps exist or if the employee need training. So if an employee don't perform any task properly, it means that employee needs training. And in individual analysis, what we'll do in individual analysis, we will identify the employee's knowledge, skills, and performance levels. What? We will identify the employee's knowledge, skills, and performance levels. It means that we will identify whether any gaps exist between the current and desired performance levels and whether training can help bridge those gaps. So, the analysis should also consider employees' learning styles, preferences, and needs in individual analysis. Now, let's move towards the next step. The next step is the designing phase. Now, I must clear one thing to you that every step involves three steps. First is input, then process, and then output. So, the output of the analysis phase will be the input for the design phase. It means it involves developing the training content, right, according to the need analysis and according to the area in which we are going to give training to the employees, the delivery method, evaluation criteria based on the results of the training need analysis. So, what we will do in design phase, we will identify about the trainees, about the trainers, about the methods we are going to use, about the location on which we are going to conduct the training. So, if we'll talk about the trainees, in this phase, we will identify the target audience for the training program, and we will determine the number of trainees. We will identify the number of trainees and their job roles also, because we will give them training according to their job roles which they are performing and their learning needs, in which area they need training. And we'll consider the trainees' learning styles, preferences, and needs to ensure that the training program is engaging and interactive, right, and tailored to the needs. So, the training program must be engaging and interactive. It also focuses on the learning styles and preferences of the trainees, and also about the target audience, the number of trainees, and their job roles and learning needs. So, these are the points which we must consider during training the trainees. And if we'll move towards the trainers, this is very important part for training as well. So, when we are selecting the trainers, it involves selecting the experienced trainers who deliver the training program efficiently and effectively, and the trainers must have necessary skills, knowledge, and experience to deliver the content to deliver the content means they must have experience and they must have the proper knowledge about delivering the content. They must have knowledge, they must have skills, they must have experience, and they must have the ability to answer any question that rise during the training. So design should also consider whether additional training or support is required for the trainers. Right, so we talk about the trainees, we talked about the trainers, now we will talk about the methods. There are different methods, such as the few methods are related to on the job training and some methods are related to off the job training. Now, according to the need and according to the training which employee needs, we will decide the training method, such as for example, if employee needs training related to uh, which is related to on the job training, and on the job training includes apprenticeship, which involves pairing a new employee with an experienced employee who teaches them the necessary skills and knowledge through hands on experience. It means that if you are new in any organization, the senior employee will guide you and the experienced employee will teach you necessary skills. So this is on the job training method. And the other method is coaching and mentoring, and it involves pairing a new employee with a more experienced employee who provides guidance and feedback as they learn the job, right? So this is also coaching, and mentoring is also on the job training. The other method is job rotation, and job rotation involves moving an employee to different positions within the company to design and I mean to gain the experience. Or in design phase we will decide about the training. It means if the employee needs training which is necessary to work under the supervisor and to work under the one senior employee and experienced employee, then these methods are necessary, such as apprenticeship, coaching, mentoring, job rotation, which involves moving an employee to different positions within the organization. It is done within the company to gain experience in various aspects of the job. Internship is also the part of on the job training, but uh, yes, it's a method of on the job training. If we'll talk about the off the job training methods, then there are different methods such as classroom training, right? You are providing employee with the formal instructions in a classroom setting, either in person or online. It can be online or it can be hybrid as well. The seminars and workshops are also off the job training methods, such as providing employees with intensive training sessions focused on specific topics or skills. So seminars and workshops also give opportunity to employees to learn and to uh, improve their knowledge, skills, and abilities. Conferences and trade shows are also off the job training methods. E-learning and demonstrations etc are off the job training methods. It includes simulations as well. There are various methods such as in basket method, in there are various methods. If we go deep into it, then we will make separate video on that, the training methods. So we will also decide about the location, right? We will decide about the location of the training, and uh, it basically helps determine whether an on site or off site location is most appropriate for the target audience and their learning needs. So the design should also consider whether any special equipment or any machinery or resources are required for the location, right? So uh, the trainers, methods, locations will be decided in this phase. Now the output of this phase will be the input of the development phase. In development phase, what we'll do, we will determine the learning objectives. And it means that what kind of skills and knowledge the trainees needs. So according to that, we will make learning objectives, and it helps ensure that the training program is focused and aligned with the organizational goals. Make sure your training program is focused and aligned with the organizational goals, right? The next is develop content. It means that creating the training materials such as slides, handouts, exercises based on the learning objectives, and it helps ensure that the content is engaging, interactive, and tailored to the trainees' needs, right? So the content must be engaging and interactive. The next is develop assessments. In assessments, we will measure whether the trainees have required the necessary skills and knowledge during the training program, or it helps ensure that the assessments are valid, it should be reliable, and it should be aligned with the learning objectives. So, your training must be valid, it must be reliable, it must be aligned with the learning objectives. The next is developing a training program. Developing a training program. It means that you are developing the proper training program with the help of ADA model, and organizations ensure that their employees receive high quality trainings and that delivers measurable results in terms of improved productivity, improved quality, customer satisfaction, or other key performance indicators. It means their performance will improve, their productivity, their quality, and the customer satisfaction will improve, and there should be the high quality training which delivers measurable results which can be seen from the performance of the employee. The next phase is implementation phase, right? The next phase is implementation phase. Now this is the critical phase, because if we had identified the problem, we had developed the design, and we had developed the training and learning objectives, but if we'll not implement all these things properly and in a right way, then what will happen? One wrong step can dissolve the whole purpose of the training, and all your efforts will go into vain. It means it will be wasted. So, the training implementation also involves certain processes, certain steps, such as Not the steps but certain things which we have to follow, such as there are several things you can do to ensure that trainees become and remain interested in the training. And what are those trainings? Such as pre-training communication. Yes, it means that start with icebreaker, that is that can be game or any exercise that promotes trainees to get comfortable and interacting with other trainees and the trainer, right? What you'll do, you'll communicate with the employees, such as ask questions from them, from where you are you enjoying the training, why you're the part of this training, and also tell them about the objectives of the training. It means that provide them the basic objectives and tell them about the importance of the training. It means why the training is conducted. Tell them about the training agenda. It means how the training will proceed. And also tell them and inform your trainees about the availability of refreshment if you are providing them, any material you are using, and the classroom setup, such as there is a different setup for discussion, different setup for the classroom lecture method, a different method for simulation method, different methods for demonstration method. And you will also make sure that the equipment are functioning well before start of your training. The next is start the training by greeting your participants. These are very easy things. Use non-verbal communication, means keep your eye contact and give head I mean respond them by uh, you I mean nod your head if you agree, right? So these are the things which you have to consider during training. Dry run means it is done to eliminate any major glitches and issues. And the pilot testing and pilot program is done on the smaller scale to identify. So, yes, we will greet the participants, we'll use non-verbal communication, and we will also do dry run to refine the training and to eliminate the major glitches. And pilot testing is done on smaller scale to identify whether the training is effective or not. So, if it is needed, we will also do that. And then comes the training evaluation phase. In this phase, we will basically evaluate how the training is effective, how much the training is effective, right? So, here in training uh, evaluation, we will measure the effectiveness of the training program and making improvements based on the results. And here we will use Kirkpatrick's training evaluation model. This is model training evaluation model to evaluate the training. So the first step is reaction. It involves measuring the trainee's satisfaction. Right? In this phase, we will identify how much trainees are satisfied with the training program. And it also helps us to determine whether the training program was engaging, interactive, and tailored to the needs or not. And also we will see and we will also consider that whether any area of the improvement were identified during the feedback session. For example, suppose we had given training to any employee, but after training we will get feedback from the supervisor, from the manager, that how the employee is working, to see the reaction. And then we'll see what the trainees learned during the training session, means whether their performance is improved or not, and whether the trainees acquired the necessary skills and knowledge during the training program or not. And it also helps us to determine whether any gaps exist between the current and desired performance levels. So that is why we will do training and evaluate the training to see the trainees had learned and acquired certain knowledge and skills or not. And then we will also identify and find out the behavioral changes in employee, and how we'll measure it. It will be applied to the knowledge and skills acquired during the training, and it helps determine whether any gaps exist between on the job performance and desired performance level. So we will see the behavioral changes in employees, and in last step we will see the results. It means that at first the employee was misbehaving, now how he treats the customers, what changes he had adopted after attending the training. Means training program which uh, we had given to employee is effective or not, and it gives results, improved results, and it improved the productivity of employee or not. So thank you so much. This is all about the training process, training and development. So if you really like my video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. I will upload more videos for you people. Thank you for watching and thank you for your patience.